What's going on, everyone? Friday edition of the Cornerman. We're going to talk about two things today that I've been thinking about all week. Well, one had just happened recently, the Mike Tyson situation on a plane. We're going to get into that after. I'm actually pretty passionate and fired up about that. But first, we're going to talk about the potential of Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Now, I actually do think that this fight is going to happen. I know there's a lot of bullish stuff. A lot of people accuse the UFC of selling wolf tickets. What do I mean? That's a fighter's term. That's a BS fight. That's probably not really going to happen. I do think that this fight is going to happen. I think that a lot of things need this fight. I think that Jon Jones actually does need his return as much as he's got going on outside of fighting. Stipe, it's hard to match him up right now. He's always a game fighter. The UFC, obviously, Dana White made it clear he really wants Jon Jones to return. Who are you going to match him up with? And I think Stipe is the most game right now. Ciryl Gane is also a top solid matchup, potentially. I think that one of the best heavyweight champions of all time in Stipe Miocic is the guy to go with, because then immediately Jon could fight for the unified belt after against somebody else. It's an interim title. They're hoping France. He might do a little spurt somewhere else for a little while, maybe try boxing. I think he's going to come back to the UFC. He's just got some things to do, Now, how does this fight play out? First of all, let's face it, everyone's pissed at Jon Jones right now. Everyone loves Stipe Miocic. That's another reason why it sells. Everyone wants to see the blue-collar guy go after and beat the greatest fighter of all time. I think that's a selling point there. I mean, I know I'm a huge Stipe fan. I spent a little time with Stipe, sort of like we were at booths at International Fight Week. I talked to him a little bit. He was a cool dude. He was really cool. This was before he was champion. Not to say he changed the champion. I mean, he's a fireman too. I always love firemen. So I think that this fight, I think you see a lot of Jon Jones' wrestling. I think that now, I don't think that the jump to heavyweight is going to be as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. Now, I know me, when I was fighting at 155, and I was probably walking around at like 183, 185 pounds. When I was walking around at 170, I was walking around when I was fighting at 170, I was walking around at like 190, 192. I was too big, but yeah, like it was only like 8 or 9 pounds difference from walking around between weight classes. Now, I did my personal performance, my personal production. I was more athletic at 155 than I was at 170, without question. I was much more coordinated. I was quicker. I felt the same amount of strength. I didn't feel any strength less. Now, externally speaking, on the opponent, yes, obviously the opponent's going to be a little bit bigger. I only had like 2 fights where I really felt something, where the size really was a thing. Only one of which I lost, and I don't even think size had anything to do with it. I was just lost. I was just out. I was just bested. So I don't really think size is going to be a big deal here. Jon's not a small dude. In fact, I think he's even taller than Stipe. He might even be bigger overall coming into the fight. No, that's probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. But I think he is taller than Stipe. That being said, the punching power from Stipe is probably going to play a role here. He's got power. He knows how to use his hands. We saw against Daniel Cormier, he knows how to figure out how to work the body and everything. That reason alone, I think that Jon is going to be using his wrestling. You're going to see somewhat of an older Jon Jones, so to speak, vintage, even though he really was just crazy striking from way early on. I think Jon would use his wrestling to a decision in this fight. That's what he's going to do, or maybe even look to submit. I don't want to say Stipe's ground is questionable. The guy trains everything. The guy's one of the greatest of all time as far as heavyweights are concerned. But I just think that Jon Jones has a better chance of being more dominant on the ground. I think that Stipe could do some serious damage even on Jon Jones if he finds a groove with his striking, mixing up the body, getting inside the telephone booth, as we've spoken about before. So I think that is how Jon Jones is going to try to shoot under strikes and take Stipe down and grind him out. I think that's how that fight goes. I think this is a double name fight. I think it's going to be similar to how Ciryl Gane and Francis Ngannou went. I think it's going to be a great fight. Those who love mixed martial arts think it's going to be a great fight. I don't think the casual fans are going to appreciate it as much, unless I could be wrong. Stranger things have happened. Now, let's go into what I said earlier about Mike Tyson on a plane. Should be a movie instead of snakes on a plane. Much scarier. To the gentleman that got hit by Mike Tyson, you're a jackass. Your friends are jackasses that let you be in that situation. Clearly, you can't hold your liquor. I believe that the term outside of poking the bear over the last 35 years was, man, that's like messing with Mike Tyson. You just don't do it. No matter how old Mike is, you're an idiot. Like if you watch the video, and more has come out since then. If you watch the video, he was standing over Mike. He literally had the high ground. And if you really think about it, how uncomfortable of a situation that must put any person, let alone Mike Tyson, when someone is standing over you, you're in their space. You don't have to be Mike Tyson to react like that. I truly believe that there should be that, like, things like spitting and stuff to get people started should be against the law, or you should be allowed. This should be considered self-defense when people are harassing you to that level and on their punch. So we found out later that he was quiet when he was being questioned. He probably felt really, really guilty. He spilled water on Mike Tyson. What else do you want? I just think that for this person to be so foolish, and this just shows what's going on in the world today. People think they're so safe. They're in their safe places with social media and everything like that. Mike Tyson was the first one to say social media has put in place where people think that they're safe. Like, this is a perfect example of why people need to be held accountable for their stupid actions. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's exactly what happened here. Now, that being said, I hope this goes to court. I hope that this gets drawn out. I hope the judge says you're an idiot. You got what you paid for. You got what you deserve. And then Mike Tyson sues said gentleman for his legal fees. I hope that it goes that way 100%. Mike, you defended yourself. I don't know of anybody. I haven't spoken to anybody that is saying, wow, Mike Tyson, you're in the wrong here. I know legally speaking, we got to wait to see what happens. But, man, I just hope that this shows people you can't just mess with people. Oh, he's a Mike Tyson man messing with Mike Tyson. That's BS. That's complete bullshit. You can't. He got exactly what he deserved. I hope that he lives in infamy with those marks on his face. With this is such ignorance. This is just, that's somebody who's coddled. Don't even get me started. Just, yeah, Mike Tyson, you got the public's support on this one, big guy. You are Mike Tyson, and that guy got off easy as far as I'm concerned. That's insane. So, all right, guys, there we go. Mike Tyson, Jones versus Stipe. A lot coming up. Let me know what you think. Have a good one.